Welcome to September, everyone. We have two big elk hunts this year in September. Tomorrow, we are going to New Mexico to do the Worldwide Trophy Adventures giveaway hunt, which I'm super jazzed about. Never hunted in New Mexico. And then right after that, we're literally jumping in the truck and driving to Utah. We got another super dope hunt that is gonna be something special. I'm super excited about it. But it provoked me to be like, you know what? I'm doing my final checks today on my bow, my final yardages, and I just fletched up some new arrows, and I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna go a complete run through what my elk hunting setup this year is gonna be, because a couple things are a little bit different than what I've done before. So let's just run through the bow real quick. This is my Matthews Phase 4, tried and true. This thing has been through the ringer. I've had this one bow. I only own one Phase 4. I've talked about this before. I want just one, and I wanted to beat the snot out of it for a full year. Prior years, like V3X year, I beat the snot out of one, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna set one up for like total archery challenges and stuff separately, but we didn't do that this year. Beat the snot out of it, and she's still going strong. The new UV slider is all set up, ready to rip, and a couple custom things I've done to it. I chopped off this back end right here so that it's flush. That's the only custom thing on it, but we do have my sight tape on here, and how I have it set up is my 3 pins for my triple mark is 20, 30, 40. So my 3 pins in there, 20, 30, 40. And then anywhere I rack it, which is great for elk hunting because 20, 30, 40, and then if I rack it, you know, let's say it's like, oh, he's at like 52, but then he comes running towards me or something, I have all the way until 35 right now. So I can just quick glance, and it's like, oh, yeah, all my pins are right there. One thing I haven't done yet is on our other side, our dual tapes, I am going to put another sight tape. I'm going to put the lefty sight tape on this side so that I always have my floater pin reference. That just comes in handy. So many scenarios, you know, it's like you're holding your bow like this, you got this one, but if you're like crouching down or stalking or something, you get a quick glance on here and you can just, and then shoot. I have a 10-inch back bar, 12-inch front bar. I kind of dropped some weight on it, add a little bit more weight on it just for shooting targets and stuff, but there's really no reason to, when you're hiking around elk hunting, to have a ton of weight. So I just have 4 in the back, 3 ounces in the front, and that leveled out pretty good. Shooting like 75 pounds, I believe. So it's gonna do good. I'm super pumped about it. Arrow-wise, similar to the arrow build that we just posted, but this is a Rip TKO by Victory, 350 spine. We got 50 grains in the front, and then 100 grain point, so 150 total in the front. We have our new, oh, these are actually just X veins. I thought these are our X3s. These are just X veins with wraps, 3 fletch, because we are going to be running a dead meat for elk. I've never done that before. This is the dead meat that I shot my caribou at, but we're gonna run the dead meat for elk because I'm like, man, there's no reason that's not gonna work. I talked to a bunch of guys that have shot them with them and performed super well. My arrow setup is good. I have enough poundage. It's a super small little super small little expandable. It's really not going to be any different, much different than a fixed blade. What I've used when I shot my elk in Montana, I was using a little tiny fixed blade, and they flew really well, but I was a little nervous about how little it cut, and I got a pass through, but the arrow's still stuck in it. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna run a dead meat and see what's up. That's kind of my arrow setup. I guess let's see total weight on it. 435. So I have no problems with that. I guess we can shoot through the chrono real quick too while we're at it, just to get a full setup spec rundown. Okay, it's 292. So pretty good fast setup. I'm super pumped about this. I think it's gonna be the ticket. It's gonna be perfect. So let's go outside and shoot. I gotta run through my sight tape and just make sure everything's good. Okay, so we're gonna run the whole program here. This is what I do before I leave for trips. We'll start at 20 yards and then we'll move all the way back to 100. It's a little windy, but we'll make do as long as we're within the dot, and I feel like it was a good shot. We'll be fine. 21, 20. And it's always good to do this, one, just for a confidence boost, and two, you know, just double check everything. Ignorance is bliss sometimes, but it's also good to know that everything is right on right before you leave. Nice. Butterfingers. That is right in the middle. Slightly right. We might have to adjust that, but could be the wind. But now we'll do 30. And it's really good. I know it kind of sounds like a pain in the butt to shoot every 10 yards of like your distances, but man, it just makes my confidence so much higher, and I know there's no questions about anything. And I'm shooting also with BMPs, which are like broadhead replacement practice points. Those are actually now, are those available on B-roll? Yeah, well, you can buy those on B-roll merch now too, and little 3-packs. So if you want to like rig out a dozen arrows with them, which is what I do for doing this stuff, you can. Okay, 30 yards. Man, it is windy. Did you hear my stomach grumbling? No. I'm hungry. I don't know where that went, but it looked good. Was it still? Yeah, I'm hanging right. It could be the wind, but we'll bump it a little bit. We got a bulldozer in the back. Can you hear that?
I can in my left ear.
Sure. Okay, 40. That was a good shot, I think. No, it was not. It was low. But we're still right there. We're close. Move it on back. So now we're beyond our pins. We're just moving it now. So we'll go to 50. Yeah, a little low. I think I might be, I think this bottom pin needs to get bumped down a little bit. I think my tape's good, but when I was shooting out here the other day too, I was hanging just a smidge low. Okay, 60, which is fine. If it'll be a quick adjustment. If I run through this and I have a group in the, low, all in the same spot, I'll literally just bump this bottom pin down a little bit, double check it, and we'll be good. It's left. Yeah, low though. The left was me. Low in the same spot, literally same height. 70 yards. That was a good shot. Yeah, I have such a good group. I have a group like this, just low. So we'll have to make that adjustment after we do this. Just double check it, but we're still sitting pretty. 80 right. I have such a tight group down there, a little left too now. Moved a little too much. 90. Shee-hee. Not a great day to be doing this, but we do leave tomorrow, so we have to just double check. That was tough holding steady. Yeah, that went really low. I'm not gonna go to 100. I'm gonna shoot another one here at 90, and then we'll go to like 60, probably 50 maybe, and get our bottom pin in the right spot, and then I'll run through them again. It's probably low again. Yeah, same spot. Okay, let's go check them out. Okay. This arrow I shot off camera at the beginning, so ignore that one. This was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So we're dropping a little bit, but we're in line. I think our main group is here. 90, it just extrapolates, it gets bigger for the drop. So I'm gonna move that 40 pin down. It's honestly not gonna take much. But my 20-30 is good, and I believe my tape is good. We'll just move that down. Try it again. We should be golden. You can see we got our little adjustment screws right here. So very carefully bump this down. Okay, so bumped it down just a touch. You can't even notice like a difference visually. So I'm gonna run back through. I'm gonna start at 40. I thought about it, and we'll just start at 40 again and see if we're back on or what our program is. Because technically, if we're on at 40, we're on at all of them. Technically, yeah. Theoretically, 40. Decent. Right in the bottom of the dot. So let's hopefully we're not all on the bottom of the dot. Hopefully we're in the middle of the dot. Could have been me. Wow, 53. I should did you?
Yeah.
I should do little spray painted lines out here just for reference, but I don't. Man, we're still kind of low. We might have to bump our tape because I really don't want to go. I'm trying to think here. 20, 30, 40. If I did this and then adjusted my rail, or not my rail, but my tape just a smidge, that fix it? I think it would. Okay, let's go inside and do this. I like to put it in this jig now when I do this sort of stuff because it allows me just to be so precise with it. So what I am doing, setting my sight for, I'm essentially sighting it in for 40 yards. So I'm moving my sight to 41 and a half. I think it still needs about 1.5 yards. We're gonna at least start with that. So what you do is you lock this down, and then we have these little adjustment screws that we're gonna loosen on the tape. So I'm not moving my pins anymore because I moved it a little bit. And then what you're gonna do is physically move the tape to realign with your triple mark, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but we're there, we're back 20, 30, 40, but essentially we just shifted everything 1.5 yards, which hopefully that didn't, it's probably gonna fudge up my 20 and my 30, but we might have to just kind of hard reset on this if this doesn't work and just do it all again. You know what I might actually do? This is 20 yards from here. I'm gonna shoot this first. And if this is off, there's no need to do everything because I gotta do a full reset. I mean, it's right in the top of the dot there. Let's shoot a couple and just double check. And then I'll shoot from 30 also inside here. Maybe we'll do 40 inside here too, just so we're not fighting the wind aiming. Yeah, so yeah, we're running a little high. So what I'm gonna do now, not touch anything, move that to 30 because our middle pin is fixed. Technically, you wanna run off of that when doing this sort of stuff. So if our 30 is off, then we'll reset. But if our 30 is on, then I'll bump my 20 up. It could just been my 20 and my 40 pins were a little too close together and I just had to separate them out a little bit. I'm hoping that's what it is. Just a little high. Bing, bing, and then bing. It's good to be this critical when you're this close, because if you're not this critical when you're this close, it just jacks everything up further downrange. 30. shoot a couple more again just to double check. That'll be good if this fixes it. Okay, so I got one in the top side, one in the bottom side. Shoot one more, and if it's in the middle, then that's our solution, that's our problem. Nice, okay. It's a little left, but up and down is good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bump my 20 pin up a little bit. So that's what it was. My 20 pin was a little low and my 40 pin was a little high. So I'm just gonna separate them out a little bit, and then hopefully the rest of our tape is right on and we'll be good. Okay, we're gonna double check this now. It's all about double checking. Just making sure everything's good. So I'm gonna move that other target to 20, and we'll do 20, 30, and then 40. Dead nuts middle. That is what we like. Dead nuts middle again. So we're good there. I'm gonna shoot another one at 30 for good measure. So we're gonna do our run the program again. So we got 20 is good. Then we'll do that further one at 30. Money. I'll do 40. Perfect. Okay, now let's do 50. In the dot, that's what we like. Do 60. Right in the dot. I think this fixed our problem. In the dot. I was worried about the wind, but we're good. Whew, heard some arrows slapping down there. Oh yes, that's what we like. Let's go check them out. Okay, so I do know I forgot to pull the arrows out from the time we shot at 40 and 50 before. It was these two. So I think this was my, I forget the order of them, but that's our group. That's from 40 to 80 yards, and I'm super pumped with that. Every single one is in that orange dot. I kind of use that orange dot as my gauge of if I'm in it, I'm good. So that's some human variance, maybe hanging a little low, or this wind is making it a little low or something, but we're good. 20 to 80 is spot on. So we're ready to rip. Headed to New Mexico like 4 a.m. tomorrow. So I needed to do this regardless. Glad we were able to make it a video. And that is what I do. Most of the time, a lot of the time when I do that, I do have to make a small little tweak, because you just kind of get in the rhythm like, oh, I'm just gonna go stand at 50 yards and shoot a bunch, or I'm gonna go stand at 20 yards and shoot a bunch. And you never like run through your program all the way. So it's good to force yourself to do that. You should probably force yourself to do that like 2 or 3 days before a trip in case something's wrong. You got time to fix it, but here we are. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and stay tuned for some elk content because it's heading your way.